Hello everyone, in this video we're going to do a quick tutorial on setting up a WordPress development environment for Gutenberg development. And there's several different ways to do this, each with their pros and cons.
Please subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button below and the bell to be notified when we release new tutorials. Most of our videos come with articles, so be sure to check those out as well.
Cover the other ones in different videos. But anyway, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm using WAMP, the server, and basically I'm already in my plugins folder. So what you'll want to do is you want to just create a new folder and call it your new plugin or whatever you want to call it. And then you want to go ahead and go into that folder in your text editor. And so I'm going to go into new plugin. And if you're using like Examp or whatever, you use your htdocs or whatever folder is required of you for your server. Okay, and so once we have that, we'll want to create our PHP file. So we'll do that, and usually you call it the same name, so new plugin.php. And then I've already got some basic code written here, so I'm just going to paste that here. So I'm going to call it new plugin, and so once we have it, once we have that, we can activate our plugin. And so you'll just go to your localhost wp admin, localhost WordPress, wp admin. Oh, and I'm already logged in. Okay, so you'll go ahead and log in, and then do your activation. So, and it's already activated because I tried to do this before, so I knew what I was doing. But anyway, so go ahead and activate, and once you've got your plugin activated, we can continue. Okay, and now that we have our plugin activated, we'll want to install the WP Scripts package, and yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. So basically what we'll do is we'll go to our plugins folder in our command line, and we'll go to actual plugin. So new plugin is our name, and then we'll just do npm init y to create a basic npm or package.json file, and then you'll want to install the WP Scripts package. So that's npm install at WordPress/scripts --save -dev. That'll take a minute to install. And by default, WP Scripts and Webpack, well actually WP Scripts has it set up so the entry point, or the output file, is the build/index.js file. And so we'll want to adjust our package.json to have it be build/index. So we can go ahead and do that in our package.json, build/index.js. And then we'll also, this isn't mandatory, but you'll want to have a start script. So start, and then your WP Scripts start. And then for your build, you can do build : WP Scripts build. You can save that. The actual entry point of our file, of our project, or where all of the code will be read from, is going to be the src/index file. And that's kind of like the entry point to the entire project. So what you'll want to do is, and this is by default set up from Webpack, and I believe WP Scripts just uses that, the same default. So regardless, you're going to want to create a src folder and then an index.js file inside of that src folder. And then we'll just go ahead and run a console.log to make sure everything's working. Hello. And then, that way we can see everything's working. And now we're ready to run npm start to make sure that our build folder is being created. So let's go ahead and do that. So npm start. Now we'll start up Webpack, or WP Scripts, which will create our build folder. And so it gets it from the index.php. It creates an asset folder with the dependencies for us, and then our index.js file. So that's great, and we're ready to start building our plugin. So you can go ahead and go to our new plugin.php file, And then we can go ahead and create our script that will hook into the init action, which will allow us to enqueue our index.js file. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create that function. So function new plugin setup. And then I'm going to call this function on the initialization of WordPress. So add action init and new plugin setup. Okay, cool. And so now this function will be called when WordPress is initialized. So the first thing we want to do is get our dependencies into a variable. And so the dependencies are set up into this index.asset.php file. And I'm pretty sure that that's handled by the WP scripts package. But anyway, so it gets us these dependencies. So we can just store those in the variable. So in this new plugin, I'm going to go ahead and copy off screen so you don't have to watch me type. And so all this is doing is storing inside asset file the contents of this build/index.asset.php. And then from there, we can register our script. So what we'll have is this block of code here. And basically this is creating a handle for our build/index.js file. So all of our code, all of our source code gets compiled into the index.js, which is where we will say, you know, our code is located. And then we get the dependencies here, and then asset file version. You can just check out the WP scripts function and learn more about that. The next thing we'll want to do is actually load the JavaScript code into our block type. So what we'll have here is this will actually register the block. So we're going to create a block called new plugin block. And then this will be the editor script. So all of the code that gets loaded into the Gutenberg editor area. So the truth-new-plugin-script, you can see that these match. And so that should be enough for our PHP for now. So if we save this file and then we go to our WordPress dashboard area, we can go to posts, add new, and then we can see our log. So we know that this is working so far. And one thing I want to do real quick is make sure that we have our handles named clearly. So I think editor script and new plugin editor script would be more clear. With that done, we can go ahead and set up our block on the front end. So in src/index.js, we can set up our block. And so we're going to import this register block type from the WordPress blocks package. And then basically all we have to do is set up our block. So we give it a title, an icon, category, and the edit and the save functions are the two real important ones. Basically this is all the stuff that shows up on the edit, and this is the stuff that shows up in the save or the front end. So once we do that, we go ahead and save, and then this will give us the ability to find our new plugin block. So this is the title, so we'll go ahead and type that in. Let's go ahead and refresh the page. And then see if we can find our new plugin block, and there it is. And so I am the edit test, and then we see it here, I am the edit test. Now the next thing we'll want to do is set up our Webpack to create our CSS files for us. And I mean, you could just in your new plugin register a bunch of different scripts, but if you want to use CSS preprocessors and just kind of have it simpler, I guess you may want to have, I mean, how you set it up is up to you, but I like to have just a giant, at least in development, a giant file for the front end CSS, and then another one for the back end. And so we'll go ahead and show you how to do that just as a basic setup. So what you want to do is you'll want to create a Webpack config file. So webpack.config.js in the root of your directory. And basically it's actually pretty simple because WP Scripts provides a lot of default configuration for us. So you can grab that by just requiring WordPress scripts config webpack.config. We stick it in the default config variable, and then we use this path utility to help us out. And then with Webpack, you're going to be exporting it, but we want to export we don't want to replace their Webpack config. We want to extend it. So we're just going to take their existing configuration and spread it out into this export. And then all we want to do is edit the entry. And even then, we're just going to update the entry. So again, we're going to spread out the default configs entry. And if you want to mess around with this, you can just, see, if you want to see what this stuff is, just do a console.log default config or whatever. Default config entry to see what their setup is like. But so what we want is we want a second and third entry point. And so I'm going to call this editor style and then style. And I should probably call this front end style, but I'll just leave it like that. So this will be where all of our front end CSS gets imported. And then this will be where all of our back end, the Gutenberg block editor CSS gets registered at. And so because of these entry points, Webpack's going to create 2 new files for us in the build. And then we can enqueue and register those instead of what would be in our source. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can save this file, and then we have to create these files. And so you can see our location is src editor style.js and style. So let's go ahead and create those folders or files. So in src editor style.js, and then I'll create one more. What was it called? Style.js. Okay, so file style.js. Okay, cool. And then from here, we'll want to, this is where we're going to import all of the CSS files for our plugin, for our editor end of the plugin. So we'll start with, we'll just do like import /editor style.css. So we'll just keep it a CSS file for now. And then in the style, we can call it probably style CSS or whatever. So let's go ahead and import /style.css. Okay. And then now we need to create those CSS files. So style.css, new file, style.css. And then this one was editor style.css. So let's create that. Editor style.css. Okay, cool. And now let's just do, body background blue, save, and then style pink, just to see if it works. So we'll save those, and then make sure we save everything. So I'm just gonna close everything out and make sure it's all saved. Okay, and then from there we can since we updated our Webpack, we'll have to close it down and start it back up. So let's go ahead and do that. So npm start, cross our fingers and hope everything works. All right, there we go. And so now we have our editor style.css, and you can see it's reading from our editor style. And then we've got this other one is style. I don't know exactly why, because usually it's supposed to name it using the conventions based off of the key. But I think it kind of gets hijacked by WP scripts or something like that. I don't know. So, but that's what we got. So we have our CSS files all set up for us. Now we just have to import these into our Gutenberg plugin. But while we're still messing with the CSS, why don't we make sure that SCSS files work? And so we can't just load SCSS files. We have to actually compile them to CSS, which is why we're using Webpack. But let's go ahead and rename these files to SCSS files. So SCSS, and then style.css would be style.scss. And then in our JavaScript files where we're importing the CSS, we'll go ahead and change those as well. Style.js, SCSS. Okay, I think I did everything. And let's go ahead and actually do some actual CSS code or SCSS code. So we'll use a variable and we'll set up a variable. And I'm kind of shortcutting. This is the default class name that WordPress Gutenberg provides. So I'm going to change this one to yellow. And then I'll do this one. I'll do it to like hot pink. Cool. Okay, so we'll save those, and then now we'll see if, yep, they work. So editor style in our build has already updated it to yellow, and then our style is hot pink. So we are good to go with SCSS files now. So yay. Okay, so we're almost done here. Let's go back to our new plugin.php file, and then now we'll go ahead and register these new style sheets. So let's go ahead and start with our build/editor. So basically all I'll do, I'm gonna copy and paste just to avoid making the video longer. So WP register style, we're creating a handle for our style. Truth new plugin editor style. So then the location is the build/editor style.css. So this file here, and the dependencies. So from here, we can register this in our register block type. And so this will be the editor style. So we'll want to do editor_style. And you can read more about that, how that works in the register block type documentation. So, and then the handle. So truth new plugin editor style. I hope that is right and not have any typos. And then the next one, so that will load that, and then we'll do the other style here for the front end. So I'm gonna copy and paste again. Okay, and then so this time the handle is this here. Truth new plugin front end style. So again, this one is just going to be style. And then our handle, darn it. Okay, and then we can also do a script. I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick just to get that out of the way. So if we want a jQuery on the front end, for example, WordPress already provides that. So all we need to do is just let WordPress know that there's a dependency. So this array jQuery will allow us to load jQuery. So, and then this is the handle. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So script, and then what was it called? JSC courses front end script. Cool. Okay, and now hopefully all of that works. Let's go ahead and save, and then hopefully we will see our changes in our front end. So if we let's just save this draft and then refresh, and nothing. Something went wrong. Actually, I know what we forgot to do. We forgot to add our class. So we'll go ahead and go back to our index, and then we'll want to add the class name because default, yeah, they provide a default class. So we'll want to add that into our div. So class name, and then div class name equals class name. And then we'll do that for the front end as well. Class name. div class name equals class name. And so this will put the div to have the class that is provided by Gutenberg. And so now if we refresh, hopefully it will work this time. Cool. So we got that on the back end. You can see the class if you want. You probably know how to do that, hopefully. Preview, we'll see that, and it's hot pink. And so now the only thing left we have to do is to add our jQuery code. And so I've got this very simple jQuery script. And I believe that was in the front end. Let's see, I put it in src/frontend.js. So let's go ahead and create that file. So new file, frontend.js. And then we'll go ahead and add the script. So jQuery, and so when a user clicks on the WP block truth new plugin block class, make an alert statement. So we'll save that. And then now let's go ahead and refresh. And then if you click, it says, ouch, don't click me. And I think we are done with this tutorial. So congratulations, the source code is provided in GitHub on a link, so check that out as well.
Thank you for watching our video. If you found it helpful, please click on the second link in the description to sign up for our newsletter, where we send our best content to help you improve your skills and stay up to date in the industry. Please subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button below and the bell to be notified when we release new tutorials. That's all for this video, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.